Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and we are in the middle of the series where I am sharing my manifesting stories and the backstories to them and just kind of the little pieces that came together along with giving you manifesting lessons because that's important to me and I want to share that. So today we're going to talk about my purple couch, which I love. And before that, I want to tell you about an event I have coming up, which is Learn How to Manifest Money. This is a live virtual event, so it will take place on your computer from the comfort of your home, and you can do it in your pajamas or you can get all dressed up. That's your choice and whatever you want to do. But what you'll do is you'll come together with a group of manifestors, people who are into the law of attraction and who want to learn how to manifest money. Now, I love teaching manifesting with money because that energy is all around us all the time. So we get instant feedback. I expect during the course of I know somebody is going to get random money, at least one person. I know money is going to start showing up, even though we're in front of our computers and we're having this event. And in theory, we're not going out and seeing anyone, all these things. But I just know that's the way it works. I was thinking the other day about one of my clients who was in a workshop with me a couple years ago, and randomly her friend texted her, "Hey, I have money for you." This was money she had lent years ago. She had assumed she would never see again, and she had let it go and hadn't heard from this friend, but had just really said, I'll never see that money again. And all of a sudden he texts her that he has money. And I'm pretty sure it was not just $30, if I remember correctly. I think it was somewhere around $1,000. It was a significant amount of money. It was money that mattered to her and made a difference in her life. And just because we were in the energy and she was being the person who had money showed up, money that she had literally given up on. And so I know that's the kind of thing that happens when you bring together a group of people who all believe and we start putting our energy in the direction of more money shows up. So during this live class, I'm going to give you the foundations of manifesting money and how to do it. And not only, the most important thing here is that I'm not just going to teach you how to manifest money. We're actually going to do it. I am going to teach you how. But more importantly, we're going to do it. So you're not going to walk away with a list of things you should do. We're going to have spent the day doing what you need to do, creating that energy. And then you will actually leave. We're going to go through and you can create your own plan for what you want to do moving forward. So it's going to be cool. This is the first time I've ever done an event like this, and I am so excited. It just felt fun, and it is actually the celebration of my freedomversary. It will happen on the last day that I was at work in my corporate job, which I am super excited about. And so if you want to join us, go to cassieparks.com and you can go to How to Manifest Money live virtual. The link will be on the top. It'll be the last link. Just click that. The details are there. It's pretty simple. It's on the first. And we're going to go 9 to 5. It's on your computer. So there's no travel. There's no any of that. Pop your name in, make your investment, and we can have a lot of fun together. I'm very excited about this, again, because it's the first time, and I love celebrating my freedomversary. And this was the inspiration that came, which we might talk later in an episode about, but the inspiration that came about a month ago was to do this. I planned on doing something completely different, and this felt really good and really fun, and just as a great way in the middle of November or beginning of November, not middle, where people are maybe at home cozying up, just doing a virtual event. So I'm excited about it. Come join. check it out. If you've ever wanted to work with me live, you wanted to connect, this is a great way to do it. And if you know in November you'll be kind of craving that connection and stuff to other people, great opportunity. So go to cassieparks.com, click on Learn How to Manifest Money, live virtual, and get all registered. So today, I am just super excited. As I am recording this, it is snowing. I'm watching steam come off the pool. Our shed is getting built. Like, it's just so much fun. I just love today. And I'm a person who did not used to love the first snow, but it feels really good and awesome and is a sign of how I've changed and evolved. And I appreciate and love all of the moments versus just living for one. And I think as a manifester, that is evolution. And that is part of being present, and it's part of knowing and trusting that more is coming, and that there is always something awesome around the corner. So that is what I'm excited about today, other than telling you this story, which some of you may have heard, some of you may not have heard, but it is about my purple couch. I love this couch, and I love it because of the story. So I told you I was doing this because I want to give you like the backstory and the nuts and bolts and teach you how all the things kind of come together. Because a lot of times we'll just give stories and say, oh, this happened, or, whatever. I asked for this and it showed up. And sometimes it's the way it works. And sometimes there's some intricate details, which are really fun. And as I said in the beginning when I started this, stories are important. They help us understand. They help our brain understand. And they actually help us grow without doing work, which is why I love them. Because we're literally changing our brain, opening up to more possibility, to easier manifesting, to creating bigger and bolder things without doing a lot of work, like by just listening to stories, which my intention is are entertaining. So let's get into it. This may be a short episode, maybe not, you never know. But let's talk about my purple couch. So my purple couch, I sat with my love this morning. It's where I come down and I pull up my computer. It's often where I script. As I mentioned, it's snowing for the first time this year today as I'm recording this. And so I did not sit and look at the pool today. Instead, I sat on my couch next to the window and watched it snow as I scripted and did my work for the morning and connected and had my favorite time. Very often, my morning manifesting awesomeness happens on my purple couch. And I love it. I love it so much. And again, it's mostly and a lot, not mostly, it's about 50-50. 50-50, I love the couch. 50-50, I love the story. And that's what makes all the love happen for that couch. So when I switched, when I made the transition, I decided I had learned from, I created Money, Money, Money was my original manifesting course, because money, 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 focus on what you want. That's law of attraction, right? Money, money, money. That's where our focus is going to be. It wasn't going to be on, how to eliminate limiting beliefs about money, because that would be focusing on limiting beliefs. I named it Money, Money, Money because I wanted even the energy of the title of the course to be what we were creating. So it was originally called Money, Money, Money. And after coaching, a couple hundred to 500 people, maybe even 1,000 people in that course, I realized as I coached that 10,000 would be an amazing number to use. Start getting a little bit of background on Manifest 10K too. I'm going to do a whole episode on that and how I designed the course and everything. But I really realized $10,000 was a great number, because 10,000 is a stretch in your brain usually. And even for somebody who has a lot of money, it really, I'm learning, or I always trusted, right? Once 10,000 came, I was like, this is it. And I knew why it was sort of for who I attracted back then, and who is coming into my world and even still today, right? So somebody who maybe doesn't have a huge amount in their bank account or feels like they don't have a huge amount, $10,000 is a stretch. And it, your brain can't figure out the how because it's $10,000, right? And even as this course has grown, I now see, even with people who are millionaires or have a net worth of $500,000 to $1 million or even more, manifesting 10,000 is powerful. It's powerful for different reasons. It brings us back to some core things. It helps us see, because very often, sometimes 10,000 doesn't feel like enough. And so we have to coach through that. We have to coach on why this is a great number to start with, right? And sometimes it's really, they get, people who have more money sometimes get, stuck in, I need to create this bigger thing. But when we come back to the basics of creating 10,000 and what does that look like and what are we going to do with it, it's very powerful. And it brings you back to some basics of manifesting. And so just as a side note, that number has grown with me, that inspiration of $10,000 and both knowing it, but it was inspired. I didn't look at it. It just came one day. And then once the inspiration hit, I was like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense why it's 10,000, right? And so anyway, I always do what I coach people to do. Like I did money as I wrote the course. So I did it before anyone else did it. When I was shifting to Manifest 10K, I did Manifest 10K. And on my Manifest 10K list was a new couch, because I had just moved to my new apartment that I had, or new condo. It was mine. I bought it. It was a condo that I had bought. And the couch that I had, I didn't realize, but the ductwork is different on every floor. And so I knew I could get it out my door. I had never had a problem getting it in or out of my, a condo. Obviously it was in there, that I had been living on. But when I moved to a different floor and a different side of the building, the ductwork was in front of my front door. And so we couldn't get the couch in. Got it up. There was no way to get it in. There was no way to get it. There just wasn't. Because the way, just where it was situated. And so, this is right about the time when I was doing Manifest 10K. And so when on my list was a new couch, because I hadn't planned on buying it. And I'm sure I put $1,500 or $2,000 will go to my couch. And I just put it on my list and I said, cool. And so that is really, when we're talking about manifesting, that's asking, right? That's the ask. That's your intention. And even I don't have asking in my notes, but I don't love asking because it's almost like we're waiting. But intending. So when we do Manifest 10K, I say, when $10,000 shows up in your life, what are you going to do with it? Not if it shows up, not I'm going to ask the universe for this, but when $10,000 shows up, what are you going to do with it? And so on my list was couch. Like I'm going to invest in a couch, right? And so I didn't have a couch at the time, and I hadn't saved for a couch, and I probably honestly could have gone and bought a couch, but I didn't want to. I don't know why. Probably just because it was, because it's what I would spend my next 10,000 on. And so it's interesting thinking about that. I'm sure there was money in the bank that I could have bought it, but I put it on my $10,000 list and I just let go, right? Because it's this energy of this is what I'm going to do with it. So I let go. Within a week or so, the person, one of my improv teachers, had posted he had a couch. You could come get it. It had a chase on it, which is what I thought I wanted in my apartment. Actually, let me back up. So when I put that on my list, I didn't go look up couches. I hadn't been in the market for couches, so it's not like I'd been looking for a couch. And I'm a person who, I don't love that type of shopping. Like it doesn't, I don't know. It's never been like super fun. So I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew I wanted a couch. But what I did know I wanted was for it to fit the space, for it to feel good, for it to look out at my mountain view, right? I knew what it would feel like in this space. I knew where I wanted it to go. I knew where I wanted it to fit. I knew it had to fit through the door, right? I didn't say all those things. But just in putting new couch, that was implied. And sometimes I think people get so caught up in, where you're taught very often in different places, even I teach this, and whether it gets taught this way or interpreted this way, one of the places people get hung up on clarity. And what does clarity mean, right? So clarity does not necessarily mean knowing the exact couch, making sure it would fit. Like, it doesn't mean I had to go pick out and put a ton of energy in exactly what couch I wanted and do all this. I just needed to be clear. I needed to step into the space. And when I put that on my list, I knew what I wanted. I wanted a comfy couch. So that's what I had. I wanted a comfy couch that looked good in my space and, fit. That's what I wanted. And so that was implied. And so often, sometimes we do need more clarity. And sometimes I will ask my clients for that. But clarity is a tricky thing, because sometimes clarity boxes us in, or sometimes we think we need to be clear about certain things. Like, if you're thinking, well, shouldn't she have gotten specific about exactly what kind of couch she wanted? Exactly this, exactly that. No, I just needed to get specific about, I want a couch for this space. I want it to feel good. I want it to be part of what I'm creating in my space, right? And I want it to be comfortable. And all of that was implied. I didn't actually spend a lot of time on that. And I think people get confused because they think they should spend a lot of time on that. And sometimes we need to go back and look at things, but we don't have to analyze it out. We don't have to, make sure that it's this or that or get exactly what we wanted. And I'm going to get into it later in the story. I didn't even know that this couch existed. So I couldn't have gotten clear on it. But just by being clear about how I wanted it to feel in this space, knowing that I wanted it to be comfortable. And again, these are all just things when I put it on a list, I knew I didn't have to spend a lot of time in them. It worked. So a couple days later, so one of the things that I did think I wanted was a chase. A couple days later, my improv teacher posted, he's like, I'm moving, this is available. It all comes apart. You have to pick it up tomorrow. And so I said, oh, that's not my couch, but that's a great placeholder because I need some place to sit right now, right? I want to act as if I want to have a space while my couch is showing up. And it was super easy. My mom was on her way down from the mountains the next day with the truck. And I said, hey, can we just swing by, get this? It comes in pieces and you'll help me move it up. I mean, it was so easy, like so easy. And the timing was perfect, right? And I had that couch for a while. And then I had, a condo and I had a tenant in it. And he locked himself out. And so midday, one day, a couple weeks after putting this couch on my list, he texted me and he's like, hey, I locked myself out. Like, could you come unlock the door for me? Yeah, no problem. Be right there. Because I was working from home. I had the flexibility to do that. And often, this is what's important. The universe works in magical, mysterious ways. Like we think when we set an intention for something that it should be like ordering from Amazon, right? We put it in, we pay for it and it shows up, right? Except for that, when you're dealing with the universe, you're not always paying, right? It just shows up in 24 hours. But the universe isn't Amazon or any online delivery. It is something that creates magic and creates pathways and creates opportunities for us based on what we want. And so often people might get caught, and you might have gotten caught sometime where you get frustrated in a situation like this, like, oh man, why did he lock his keys out? And what happens is sometimes when we get in that frustration, we miss the universe's magic. I didn't. I was like, cool, whatever. This is, I can do this, no problem. Like, yeah. But I see people, like things happen that don't feel good or that they judge as like an inconvenience or a whatever. And they're missing the magic, because the magic of this was that I went and I unlocked his place, and he was actually buying another condo from me. He was renting a 1-bedroom and he was going to buy a 2-bedroom that I had for sale. So he's getting ready to move. So I open the door and he says, oh, and I'm looking and I see, I see this purple couch stacked on top of this other couch. And I'm like, ooh, that's cool. I've never seen a couch like that. I hadn't seen the shape. I don't know if I'd ever seen a purple couch, to be honest. Maybe. But I'd just never seen the shape. It was fun. It was so fun. And I was looking at it, and he caught me looking at it. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm just moving. It'll be cleaned up. I said, oh, I don't care. I don't think it's a mess. I said, I was just looking at that couch. It's really cool. He's like, oh, you think so? And I said, yeah, I like it. And he goes, I got that yellow couch from a coworker, and she made me take the purple one because I had a truck. He goes, do you want it? Because I don't want it. And I said, yeah, I would love to have that. I was like, it's perfect. It's amazing. It's awesome. And so there's so many ways that the universe works mysteriously, right? Like getting him to take that purple couch, because I never would have seen it. It wouldn't have occurred to him to text me and say, hey, do you want this purple couch? When he was getting it from his coworker, there was this really cool yellow couch under it, which wasn't my style, but I could see how it was his. And then there was this, and it was right there. So, he took it, it was there. And I happened to go on a day when I see it, because I had no reason to go to his apartment before he moved out. I was going to go after to check him out and do all those things that you do. But I wouldn't have seen the couch because he would have gotten rid of it. So him locking himself out was part of the path. Him taking that couch from his coworker was part of the path. And so I got to see it. And even better, him and his friend delivered it. I didn't have to find a truck. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to literally lift a finger. All I had to do was open the door. When they showed up a week or so later, they used his friend's truck. They were happy to move it for me. And so it was easy. And it just showed up. And I love this story for so many reasons. Number one, because I didn't know that couch existed. So I couldn't even get clear. But also that I just asked or put it on my list. It was what was going to happen, and I let it unfold. It didn't have to be that $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever I put on my list for the couch showed up, and then I went out and bought a couch, which is not super fun for me. It's much more fun that it got manifested and delivered, and I still have that couch, and I still love it, and it's a fun piece, and it shows the magic of the universe. When we set our intention, when we say what we're going to do, and we allow the universe to make the magic happen and to create what we want. And the more we can let go, the more that can get created that we didn't even know we wanted. Like, I didn't really know I wanted a purple couch. It never occurred to me to ask. And the more that we just let go in that moment, and we just do the work of creating a life we love, or shifting our money mindset, being open to life being easier and more abundant, we can let the universe do, quote unquote, the heavy lifting, which in this case with the couch is true, right? I didn't have to get a truck. I didn't have to figure out how to move it. I didn't have to pay movers. These two guys were happy to move it into my apartment, my condo. And if we just let go more often, if we just set the intention and be clear about the things that are really matter, right? It's fun, it's comfortable, it fits my space, and it's easy. Versus every single little detail about how it should look or how it should happen or trying to make it happen, magic happens. And I love the couch because it's a reminder every day when I come out of my bedroom, I see it, and I remember how easy the magic can be when we allow it to be easy. So I really wanted to share that story with you today because I think it's so important. I think the behind the scenes of this story are important as well. And just the fact that you can say, this is what I'll invest $10,000 in, and it can show up. And my favorite is actually when the universe delivers what we want without the money. Like, it's fun to get money, and I love manifesting money, don't get me wrong, but I really love when things that I want show up without that exchange, because it's even, to me, it's more magical, right? It's more magical when my amazing couch just shows up versus maybe, I love it all. Don't get me wrong. Please don't I do love to receive money, and I love to be abundant, and I love to take that money and invest it in what I want. And I also love the magic the universe has available to deliver without even delivering the money, like without the step-by-step process. It's so possible. So as you go out in the world today, or just even as you're listening, intend something. It can be big, it can be small, and just let it go and allow the universe to work its magic, because it is magical and it is possible, and you get to create whatever you want. Thank you for enjoying my story today. Come back next week for another one.
Thank you for joining us on the Law of Attraction, Manifesting Success Stories show. To learn how to identify your current money story, go to identifyyourmoneystory.com.